Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the SCSRA Dev Sports Cards Next Gen Series. Tonight, these Next Gens will be taking on the always challenging Iowa Speedway for 150 laps. This is the Blue Ridge Auto Group 165. I'm going to be your announcer for tonight. My name is Atley Wiese, and I'm excited to call every second of tonight's action. Last week, we were at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for one of our Crown Jewel double-point events, and we saw Devin Bucciano grab his first win of the season, leading 21 of the 100 laps. He would start second and, again, finish on the lead, grabbing the win. We saw Eddie Morris. He would grab second. He led 19 laps. Third was Matthew Scott. He led 1 lap. Fourth was Will Witt, and rounding out your top 5, that was Joe Wright. Other lap leaders included Blaze Richardson, who ended up leading 2 laps. Riley Gomes led 2 laps. Blaze Richardson led 10 laps. David Hartney led a race-high 28 laps, but he ended up finishing all the way down in 15th. And then John Lynch, he would lead 19 laps. So, after the events of last week at Indianapolis, here is a look at your current point standings. Graphic going to pop up on your screen. It's going to give you an overview of what's the deal.
Just 2 minutes left, 2 minutes to go.
Into the race, right side of your screen will be the playoff picture, and then the left side will just be the normal points. So we're going to look at the playoff picture right now. Devin Bucciano, Eddie Morris, Matthew Scott, Colin Willems, and Joe Wright, they are all locked in with wins. Cody Moore, Jake McCarty, Michael Lawrence, they're looking good to get in on points. And then currently, Brett Merle, Will Witt, Blaze Richardson, and Brian Merle Jr., they are currently fighting to try to stay in the playoffs. The top driver outside of the top 12 when looking at the playoff picture is Riley Gomes. So if Riley can have a good night tonight, you may see him break into the top 12, which will be the playoff field. And quickly, team's very important here in this league, so let's take a look at the team standings. Neon Racing remains in the lead. They got a 60-point lead over second place Wasted Wages Racing. Let's take a look, and their highest driver, they've gotten 3 wins this season. Devin Bucciano has gotten 1 win. Eddie Morris has gotten 1 win. And Joe Wright has gotten 1 win. Second is Wasted Wages Racing. They have gotten 3 wins this season. Matthew Scott has gotten 1 win. Colin Willems has gotten 1 win. And then Brian Nudie has gotten 1 win. Third in the team standings, jumping from 4th, is DBC Racing. They do not have a win this season. Their highest driver in the standings is Michael Lawrence in 7th. 4th is Mission 22 Motorsports. They also do not have a win. Their highest driver in the standings is Blaze Richardson in 10th. And rounding out your top 5 for the team standings is Merle Racing. They have not gotten a win this season. Their highest driver in the standings is Brett Merle in 8th. 6th is the Free Agents. And the highest driver in the Free Agents, that is Braxton Zog, who is in 19th. And then lastly, 7th is Venom Racing. And they've only had 3 drivers make starts this season. The highest Venom Racing driver to make a start is Jay Stinson, who was 26th in points. All right, qualifying is underway. Drivers will get 2 laps to try to set their best possible lap time, and that will determine where they will start in the feature event. There's Joe Wright on track right now. He does not have to worry about a thing for the rest of the season because he is locked in with a win. So he's not going to have to worry about trying to break into the playoffs with a win here in the ensuing races or trying to get in on points. There's Cody Moore in the 52. He has had a phenomenal season, but has not broken into the win column yet. He's came short a couple times, but no cigar so far. And oh, he gets really loose off of turn number 4. This will really
The track temp's increasing.
mess up
it's
his
now
first lap and
121
probably his
Fahrenheit.
second lap as well, because he lost that valuable momentum. So Cody Moore currently first on the board, 24.58 is the time. Joe Wright in second, he ran a 24.60. That will put him 200ths off of Cody. And third is Josh Hall, who ran a 25.08. Will Witt jumps to the top of the board with a 24.53. And then it's Eddie Morris to the top of the board. 24.34 is the time for Eddie. That will put him 2/10 ahead over second place Will Witt. And 2/10 ahead of Cody Moore as well in third place. So we'll see if anybody can get close to Eddie here. Oh! Josh Hall hard into those barrels. We're watching Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence in the 47. Also, Matthew Scott in the 05. Will Witt will jump to second place. He ran a 24.45. That will put him only a 10th behind Eddie. Third is Matthew Scott, who ran a 24.48. Also about a 10th behind Eddie. There's Blaze Richardson in the 18 on track right now. We'll see what the Mission 22 Motorsports driver can do here. Want to give a big thank you to the series sponsor, and that is Dev's Sports Cards. For those of you who don't know who Dev's Sports Cards is, let me tell you a little bit about them. Dev's Sports Cards was established in 2013 by SCSRA driver and Neon Racing team owner Devin Butchino. Dev's Sports Cards specializes in all your sports cards and gaming cards needs, from football, baseball, and basketball cards to Pokemon. Dev's Sports Cards sells it all. On their eBay store, you can find a wide variety of items, from high-end sports cards to the weekly 99-cent starting bid 7-day auctions. Don't have time to sell your own cards? Reach out to Devin and ask about his consignment services. Simply package them up, ship them out, and Devin will get them listed, sold, and then you get paid. Dev Sports Cards can be found on eBay with 4,000 plus positive feedback, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Dev Sports Cards is a proud sponsor of the SCSRA series and Intensity Broadcasting. So if you are big into sports cards or gaming cards, Dev Sports Cards is definitely the place to visit. I've actually just been in contact with Devin recently about how he packages his cards. And let me tell you, he puts a ton of care into making sure that the cards are protected when they are sent to your front door. So very trustworthy with how he packages up his cards, because I've seen how he does it. He does a great job doing that. So big thank you to Devin Butchino for sponsoring the series. Definitely the guy who you want to hit up for all of your sports cards needs. We got Brett Merle on track right now in that Columbia Sportswear Toyota. We'll see what he can do. For the first season of the Next Gen Series, SCSRA is proud to have Blue Ridge Auto Group on board. Let me tell you a little bit about them. The team at Blue Ridge Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, is immensely proud to be an active member of the thriving Abingdon, Virginia community. They're always looking for new ways to get involved with and give back to their local patrons. At Blue Ridge Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, they strive to provide their customers with the best experience possible. From the exceptional deals they offer on new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram inventory, as well as the great selection of used trucks, SUVs, and even luxury cars, their friendly staff of sales professionals are always readily available to assist you in comparing vehicles, exploring your financing options, and taking advantage of great savings. Whether you visit their dealership location or just browse online, they are always happy to have you. Not sure Blue Ridge Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the right fit for your automotive needs? Get to know them. Call them at 276-254-8289. Contact them online at blueridgecdjr.com. The link is in the description, or you can visit them on location at 19711 Old Jonesboro Road, Abingdon, Virginia, 24211 to ask questions or get a quote. They look forward to working with you. So thank you to Blue Ridge Auto Group for being a partner with the SCSRA Next Gen Series for its inaugural season. And I don't know, it is a kind of smaller town. I don't know if we may have any viewers, but if you are in the Abingdon or Bristol, Tennessee area, definitely consider checking them out for all of your Dodge, Jeep, and Ram needs. They make phenomenal vehicles. They sell phenomenal vehicles, so check them out. Nothing has changed with the top three, but it may after Devin Butchino puts down a lap. That 68 machine on track right now. Let's see what he can do. And he gets to second place. 24.42 is the time for Devin Butchino. And he spins on his second lap. Luckily, he was able to complete that first one. That time only put him 0.08 off of Eddie Morris, but that'll be the only time he will be able to get in. Intensity Broadcasting is proud to be partnered with the Butt Kicker. And for those of you who don't know what the Butt Kicker is, let me tell you a little bit about them. Butt Kicker is the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra-low frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing and gaming hardware that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one is right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Again, thebuttkicker.com is the website belonging to the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. So thank you so much to the Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. I was just on the sim earlier today doing a Legend official race, and I made extra sure to have my Butt Kicker on. Made for a phenomenal experience. You could feel every little thing in those Legends cars, made for a very accurate and immersive experience that you would only get in real life. So it's the closest way to get to feeling like you're racing in real life on the sim. Here are my keys to the race tonight. Tires. This is a very short track, under 1/10. So drivers, they are going to, under 1 mile. So drivers going to have to be very careful with their tires, very sparing with them early on so that they can last for a very long run. This is a very short track, so you got to be aware of short track shenanigans, bump and runs, spins. You always got to be heads up here. You got to be alert, got to have good instincts. And lastly, this place has a very tricky pit road. You're flying off of turn number 4, and you have to get all the way down to 40 miles per hour, which is the pit speed limit. So drivers got to be very careful during green flag pit stops if we do have any. We will see if that is the case. All right, we are gridding for your feature event. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting on the pole with a scorching hot lap time of 24.339. That is the 8 Neon Racing driver of Eddie Morris. In second, we got Devin Butchino in the 68. Starting outside of his Neon Racing teammate. In third, it's Wasted Wages Racing's Will Witt in the 35. Fourth is the 05 of Matthew Scott. And rounding out your top 5, starting behind his teammate in the 40, that is Brian Nudie. Sixth is the 13 Neon Racing driver of Brian Merle Jr. Seventh is Cody Moore in the 52. Eighth is the 82 of Joe Wright. In ninth, that's Wasted Wages Racing's Colin Willems in the 17. He's the lone Canadian in the field. And rounding out your top 10, it's Mission 22 Motorsports driver Ryan Gomes in the 55. 11th, that is the 11 Merle Racing driver of Brett Merle. 12th, starting behind his teammate, that is Blaze Richardson in the 18. 13th is Jake McCarty in the 4. 14th is the 81 DBC Racing driver of Josh Hall. And rounding out your top 15, it is DBC Racing's Charles Ballant. 16th is the 47 of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. 17th is Neon Racing's David Wright in the 84. And rounding out your top 18, last but not least, it's the 43 DBC Sim Racing driver of David Hartney. All right, the field is set. It is time to go racing here at Iowa Speedway. Excited to see what this race will bring. We will have a stout field of 18 cars, although I'm seeing that Dave Wright is not gridding. Yeah, he missed the grid. So, and he just now got to the pits. So David Wright, he is going to have to start from the pits. Is there a penalty? Yes. So Dave Wright, after the events of last week, he will have to serve a penalty. He had a violation of Rule 8.3, which is not claiming an incident. So he will have to start this next race from the pits. So we'll see if Dave Wright can come back from this adversity. All right, we're coming to the green. Quick overview. 75% fuel, 4 sets of tires over the wall, 1 faster pair. Pit speed is going to be 40 miles per hour. And this is a 150 lap race. It's going to be a long one. Drivers, they are going to have to be very stout all race long, because one mistake could injure your race. You were going extremely fast around this short track. Drivers hitting very high speeds on the straightaways, so very easy to mess up. We'll see who will do that and who will have a clean race. Again, teammates starting side by side. And then behind them in the second row, it's teammates starting side by side. So we're going to have a battle between the 2 top teams so far this season, Neon Racing and Wasted Wages Racing. Should be fun. Pace car is in. And green flag is out. The Blue Ridge Auto Group 165 is underway. Eddie Morris leads the field into turns 1 and 2. We're side by side for second. Big run on the bottom for Will Witt. He is able to get clear, not the start that Devin Butchino wanted. He may lose third to Brian Nudie. Big run on the backstretch for Will Witt. He is side by side with Eddie Morris. Eddie trying to shut the door, and he is able to. Will Witt keeping it on the bottom, but Eddie, he officially shuts the door now. Will Witt trying to set up the pass on the 8, and we already have a caution. We did not even make it 2 laps before we see our first caution of the race. Let's take a look at the wreckage replay, see exactly what happened. And it looks like Blaze Richardson was the cause and or victim of this caution. We'll see here. All right, here we go. So here's Blaze Richardson heading into 3 and 4. He's got Jake McCarty and Ryan Gomes in front of him. Big run on the outside lane, and he just loses it. Self-spins on his own through 3 and 4, was running on that top groove. And there's a couple things that could have happened. First, we'll watch to see if anybody else was involved. Barely misses, hitting both Cheeseburger and David Hartney. So luckily, nobody involved there. Balance able to get it through. One driver who was happy to see that is Dave Wright, who had to start the race from the pits. Would have had a tough time catching up if they had a long green flag run, so he's going to be bunched back up with the field, looking to make moves on this next restart. But I think, so, Richardson, he was up there on the way high side, and most drivers don't run up there, so there might have been a lot of marbles built up there, and that can definitely get the car upset. Or he just entered a little bit higher than he would have liked, tried to turn the car down to the bottom of the racetrack under that yellow line to run his normal line, and that got the car upset. So, regardless, not how Richardson wanted to start the race, but hopefully he can come back with it. It's still a long race, still plenty of time to work his way up to the front and still take the win. One driver who did not have a good start was Devin Bucciano. Started the race in second on the outside. He lost 2 positions on the start. Looking to try to make those up here on this next restart. And he's going to be starting behind the control car. Lights are out on the pace car. Eddie Morris will restart on the top. Second place will win on the bottom. Then in third, that's Brian Nudi. Fourth is Devin Bucciano. It's a big advantage starting behind the control car, because you were right on their back bumper as soon as they go. You can go right away. So we'll see if Bucciano can take advantage of that. This isn't like NASCAR. There is no choose cone. Only the front 2, or only the leader gets to decide where he wants to be on the bottom of the top. And looks like Eddie chooses to restart on the top. One advantage of that is heading into 1 and 2, you get to have that arc of the corner, and you're not going to have the risk of being pinched down by the person on your outside. All right, green flag is back out. There's Eddie Morris up to the gears, heading into 1 and 2, side by side for second. Good restart for Devin Bucciano, trying to get to the rear quarter panel of Will Witt. We're side by side for third. Nudie, big run on the bottom. He's able to get underneath Devin Bucciano. They are side by side on the backstretch. Bucciano with the nose heading into 3 and 4, trying to shut the door. And we're 3 wide. Here comes Matthew Scott. Big run on the outside, and he makes it work. Matthew Scott to the 3rd place position. Big run, good move, gets it onto the podium at the moment. And Devin Bucciano falls way back to the 6th place position. Will Witt just ran the fastest lap time of the race with a 25.43. We'll see if he can reel in Eddie Morris. We currently watch the battle for 2nd place. Brian Nudi trying to reel in. Oh, he's got a... Looks like Cody Moore trying to make a pass on Brian Nudi here. Big run on the backstretch for Moore. He looks underneath him into 3 and 4. He is able to get underneath him. They are side by side. Nice run off the corner. Good corner exit speed. And Cody Moore is able to shut the door. He gets up to the 4th place position. Brian Nudi will fall to 5th. We got a driver on pit road. Or so we thought. Ryan Gomes must have been way down the racetrack to activate the pit road on my screen. He falls way back to the 17th place position. Charles Balance far behind as well in 18th. Devin Bucciano trying to make up the spots that he has lost in the first 10 laps. First driver he needs to pick off is Brian Nudi in 5th. Trying to catch him right now. Elsewhere in the field, Josh Hall coming up on Jake McCarty for 10th. If Josh wants to stay in playoff contention, oh, he gets loose off of turn number 4. Luckily, he is able to save it. No caution comes out. We stay green flag racing for the time being. And everybody who I talked to with DBC Racing, They said the car is extremely loose. The setup is extremely loose, so we'll see how it adapts on the long run. My prediction, if it's going to start loose, I have a feeling that towards the end of the run, the car is going to be pushing tight. It's going to want to go way up to the wall, through the corner. So these drivers just need to take advantage of the rotation that they have right now and work their way up to the field, because as soon as those tires begin to wear, I have a feeling that those cars are going to get very, very tight. Never have run anything here before, but that's what I've typically experienced on tracks like Rockingham, which is very similar to this, Richmond, which is very similar to this. The more those tires age, the tighter it gets. Brian Merle Jr. coming up on Jake McCarty, former teammate. These two both ran with each other at Neon Racing. Jake McCarty now with Merle Racing. Speaking of Merle Racing, in front of them is Brett Merle, Brian's brother. So this could be an interesting battle. Two brothers and then two former teammates. We'll see how this one goes. Throw a blanket over those three, and looks like something happened to Matthew Scott. He was running in third, and then all of a sudden I look back and he's in fourth. Cody Moore able to get by him, but Scott keeping it close, looking to try to get that third place position back. Oh, but he falls way back. I don't know if Scott is either in tire saving mode or he's already burned off his tires a little bit. But he's starting to fall way back. Brian Nudie beginning to reel him in. I don't know. Oh, we see a little wiggle off a 2 for Brian Merle Jr. He's able to save it. And we're continuing to see how loose these cars are. We saw Josh Hall. He got loose off of 4. Our only caution of the race was where Blaze Richardson got loose. So far, these drivers, they have no shortage of rotation at the moment. But again, I predicted that that may change as these tires wear. Eddie Morris, he is coming up on lap traffic. That is Charles Balance. We'll see if he gives Eddie any trouble. Looks like he goes to the high side, leaving the bottom open for the leader. Oh, gets into the wall a little bit, but Eddie, he's able to scoot right through. Keeps it in the lead. So is Will Witt, able to get by Charles with no issues whatsoever. Cody Moore trying to reel in his teammate Will Witt for the second place position. These two aren't going to battle each other too hard at the moment. Still early on in the race, and their teammates. Cody's still going to try to fight for the second place spot, but he's not going to be overly aggressive. Oh, something happened to Eddie Morris. He must have tagged the outside wall or something, because he falls way back to third. Just looked like he lost his momentum somewhere. Might have gotten loose, might have hit the wall, or he might be falling back because he's saving. I don't know. So this will give Will Witt the lead now. Cody Moore in second place, trying to reel him in. And we got a battle between brothers, Brett Merle and Brian Merle Jr. duking it out for this 9th place position. Big run on the bottom for Jr. He is able to shut the door and gets up. Oh, he falls way back, though. Lost momentum. Looked like he maybe got loose off a 2. I'm not sure. But that will give the 9th place position back to Brett Merle. Dave Wright looking underneath Cheeseburger off of 4. This is for 12th. They're side by side at the stripe. Wright has the nose. And he is able to get clear as they head into 1 and 2. So Dave Wright getting closer and closer to breaking into the top 10 after having to start this race on pit road because of a penalty. Trying to make the most of it by getting back up to the field. Battles on right now for 4th Nudie underneath Matthew Scott. He's got the nose off of 4. Scott trying his best to come back on the outside. But it is not enough. Nudie able to shut the door. He gets to 4th place. While we see Matthew Scott, he will fall to 5th. We are approaching 25 laps completed. And I do want to quickly mention, look at where the stage break is. The stage break will be at lap number 50. So in 25 laps from now, we will have a admin-controlled caution. We see it, Brian Nudie loose off of turn number 2 on the apron. Gosh, everybody is struggling to keep that car going straight. I don't know if it's the track or the setup. Look at the track conditions. And I just realized we are having some issues with the SDK. I can't get any of the graphics on screen. So bear with me here. Let me know in the chat who is your pick to win tonight. So many great drivers competing for the win. So far this season, we have had unique winners in every single race. And that streak could continue tonight. Or it might not. We may see a driver get their 2nd win of the season and potentially 2 wins in a row if Devin Butchno can grab the win. All right, I have gotten the ticker fixed. And while we were doing all that, Cody Moore has gotten to the lead over Will Witt. He finally got by his teammate. Eddie Morris currently runs in 3rd with Butchno in 4th, Matthew Scott in 5th. And we got a yellow flag. So we're going to see exactly what happened here with the wreckage rewind. Let's take a look at what happened. All right, going to be coming up on your screen right now. We're watching David Hartney in the 43. Looks like he was the cause of our 2nd caution of the race. And here he is heading to 3 and 4, running about mid-groove. And just like we've seen so many other drivers, just loses the car, comes out from underneath them. See, he goes down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to save it, trying to keep it going straight, trying not to bring out the caution, and it just cocks to the right, up the racing surface, right into the racing groove. McCarty barely misses him. Oh! But he ends up making contact with Cheeseburger. That front bumper comes off the 43. Ouch. Looks like we saw a few green flag pit stops, and just like we saw last week, we have some differing strategies going on. So Brett Merle, Brian Merle Jr., and Dave Wright, they stay out. Then Will Witt, Eddie Morris, Devin Butchino, Matthew Scott, Colin Willems, Brian Nudie, Joe Wright. They come in and they take tires. Ryan Gomes and Cody Moore, they stay out. And then McCarty, Cheeseburger, Hall, and Richardson, and Charles Balance, they all take tires. So we'll see how long your front three drivers on the older tires will last in the lead. Want to quickly talk about the track that we are racing at tonight, Iowa Speedway. One of America's newest racetracks, Iowa Speedway, is located in Newton, Iowa, and has been in operation since 2006. The 7/8 mile oval was designed and built under the supervision of NASCAR champion Rusty Wallace at a cost of approximately $70 million. Thus, it's no coincidence the D-shaped oval is patterned after Richmond International Raceway, scene of some of Wallace's greatest success during his career. Iowa Speedway has a seating capacity of more than 30,000, together with a unique multi-tiered recreational vehicle viewing area along its 869-inch long backstretch, a fixture on the NASCAR and IndyCar schedules. Iowa Speedway also boasts a 9-turn, 1.3-mile road course, which utilizes most of the main oval, along with a highly technical infield section and hosts professional and amateur sports car races. One of the top racetracks in the Midwestern United States. Man, I wish it would be back on one of the NASCAR top 3 schedule. It is only on the ARCA schedule, not on the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. And such a shame, because this is such a cool and unique racetrack. I think it needs to replace one of the races for one of the tracks with 2 dates. Maybe it could be the spring race instead of Bristol Dirt. Couple other potential options on where to put it on the schedule. Maybe instead of Chicagoland, do a 4th of July race at Iowa. So many great options. Such a great track. Shame it isn't on any of the NASCAR schedules. Pace car is in. Brett Merle is the control car on the outside. Green flag is back out. Here he is leading the field into turns 1 and 2. Able to get clear over his brother into 1 and 2. Brian trying to make a good run on the bottom. And here comes the fresh tires. Will Witt able to get to 3rd, and he looks like a rocket off of turn number 2. Look at those fresh tires go. He drives it down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get underneath Brett through 3 and 4. No luck. He stays in 3rd for the time being, trying to be patient. He doesn't want to push the issue on making the pass. And here comes Eddie Morris, another driver with fresh tires, looking underneath Will Witt. He is able to get underneath them while they continue to battle for the lead. Oh! Losing it off of turn number 2. Brian Merle Jr., he has been struggling with a loose race car all race long, and this will open the door for Will Witt to get underneath Brett Merle off of turn number 4. Can he get to the lead? Can he get clear? Yes, he can. Will Witt is back to the race lead here at Iowa, knocking Brett Merle down to 2nd, and I do not think he will be there for long as the fresh tire drivers get by him. Eddie Morris to 2nd. Here comes Matthew Scott. He gets by him. Matthew Scott is to 3rd. Oh, a little wiggle off through 3 and 4 for Eddie Morris. That will cost him some momentum. Here comes Matthew Scott on the high side. They are running side by side into turns 1 and 2, and we got a caution. Caution flag is out here. Now some hard, good green flag racing. We see it gets interrupted by a caution flag. We'll see exactly what happened with this incident. Let's take a look. Just watching Dave Wright. Pushes way up through 3 and 4. And then that actually looked like McCarty might have actually came up on right there. I think maybe he didn't have as good of a run off the corner as he thought he would have. He was not able to slip up in front of Dave Wright like he maybe would have wanted to. And so now, Dave Wright back to the back of the field where he started this race. Tough break there. Cody Moore, he finally comes into the pits. Get some fresh Goodyear tires on that 52 machine. See Dave Wright right now on pit road getting some damage fixed. Hoping to stay on the lead lap. Yep, he rolls off before the leaders can get to him. Close one there for Dave Wright. Hopefully he got all the necessary damage he needed to be fixed. And we are approaching the stage break. We're going to have a short little shootout when the green flag drops, and then at lap number 50, we will have the stage break. And that will be, again, an admin-controlled caution. It'll come out. Drivers will get the opportunity to come in, get tires, get fuel. And then, of course, the top 10 will get valuable points. 10 points going to first, 1 point going to 10th. 11th through 18th will not get any points. So there are some drivers that really would like some points right now. Drivers who are running in the top 10 on the outside looking in the point standings. One of those drivers is Josh Hall, who currently runs 10th. He currently sits 16th, trying to work his way into the top 12 in points. Stage points could very well help him out and get closer and closer to breaking into the top 12. He currently is in 16th in points. And like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we have had a unique winner every single race so far. Say, for example, if Will Witt wins, that streak will continue because Will Witt has not gotten a win this season. And we also have another streak that has continued tonight. With Eddie Moore starting on the pole, we have had a unique pole sitter every single race so far this season. This is a competitive field. Anyone has a chance to win every single week. So we'll see who can break into victory lane this time. Will Witt will elect to restart on the bottom, so we'll have Eddie Morse on his outside. Behind him, it's his teammate Matthew Scott. Fourth is Brian Nudie, and rounding out your top 5, that is Brett Merle. Keep in mind, Brett Merle and Brian Merle Jr. are still on old tires, the tires that they started this race with. And then also keep in mind that Cody Moore is on 9-lap fresher tires than the rest of the field. So we got some differing tires on track. Green flag is back out. Great restart for Will Witt. Matthew Scott takes advantage of being behind the control car, and he jumps up to second place now in the back bumper. Will Witt trying to vie for the lead. Battle for third. Here comes Brett Merle, despite being on old tires. He's got a nice run through turns 1 and 2, but we see on that straightaway, Eddie Morris smokes him, and he's able to get back by him for the third place. Brett Merle trying to keep up on the bottom. Here comes Colin Willens, though, underneath them. And we see Brett Merle starting to fall back, starting to realize, hey, yeah, I have older tires. I was surprised he hung on as long as he did on that restart. So now side by side for 5th, Bucciano and Brian Nudi. Bucciano has the nose heading off of turn number 4. Nudi trying to fight on the outside. They remain door-to-door as they cross the start-finish line. Nudi now with the nose on the outside. Trying his best to make that outside groove work. Here he is taking it off a 2. And he is able to get clear. Brian Nudi makes a pass on the outside. Nice move by that 40 machine. So that will knock Devin Bucciano outside of the top 5. Eddie Morris reeling in Matthew Scott for the 2nd place position. We see Scott way up the racetrack exposing the bottom for Morris. Morris gets right up to his rear quarter panel, not quite underneath him. Keeps it on the bottom. Scott still way high through the corners, exposing that bottom. But Eddie Morris can't get underneath him still. Eddie Morris keeping it on the bottom. Continuing to get close to the rear quarter panel, but once again, Scott clears him on the straightaway. Eddie Morris almost there. They're door-to-door off of 4. Morris with the nose. He is on a preferred groove on that bottom lane. This is the battle for 9. Oh, we got a caution. And this will be a caution and the stage break. So we will see exactly what this crash was. All right, we are watching Blaze Richardson. So here he is, heading off of turn number 4. Yeah, he gets loose, and he goes straight towards the wall. Oh. And then drivers, we see Merle goes through the grass to avoid it. Cheeseburger also gets loose. That was some synchronized spinning. Oh, David Hartney plows into Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. Body panels everywhere. Rough incident right there. So we saw some pit stops from some folks. Let's see what the strategies are now. There's Josh Hall into the pits. So Cody Moore stayed out. Joe Wright stayed out. Dave Wright stayed out. The first driver on the newest tires is Eddie Morris. Then it's going to be Bucciano, Witt, Scott, Willems, Nudi, Merle Jr., McCarty, Gomes, and Balance. So only 3 drivers are on older tires. And again, that's Cody Moore, Joe Wright, and Dave Wright. Joe Wright is on 20-lap older tires. Cody Moore's on 11-lap older tires, and Dave Wright is on 9-lap older tires. So we'll see how quickly Eddie Morris and the rest of the drivers with fresh tires will be able to work their way up through the field. So we continue to pace right now. It's hard to believe that after this, we are only going to have 3 more races for the playoffs. This season has flown by. Had a lot of great races here on Intensity Broadcasting. And I'll say it, and I'll say it again. This is the most competitive season I believe the SCSRA has ever seen. In both the trucks and the next gens this season. Like I mentioned, you never know who is going to win any given week. There's definitely some favorites tonight, but you don't know who is going to be able to get it done. So many factors. All right, lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back green. Cody Moore will restart on the outside. Underneath him will be Joe Wright. Third is Dave Wright, starting behind his teammate. And then in fourth, that is Eddie Morris, who is starting behind the control car. So there will be no more stage cautions. The only cautions that will be able to come out will be because of on-track incidents. And I will say this, I do not think that stage caution will be the last caution of the race. We may have a little bit of a long green flag run now, but still, coming into the race, there's definitely going to be maybe a caution or two. Pace car's in. Green flag is back out. There's Cody Moore. Great restart. Able to get ahead of Joe and Eddie Morris, who were side by side heading into turns 1 and 2, but Joe was able to shut the door, getting clear over Eddie Morris. The battle is on for fourth. We see Will Witt able to get clear over Dave Wright, and now he is beginning to reel in Eddie Morris. Both of these drivers on fresh tires compared to Cody and Wright, who are on a little bit older tires. Witt looking underneath Morris on the front stretch, getting oh so close to that rear quarter panel. But Eddie Morris stays in third for the time being. He's got a big run through 1 and 2. He's able to get door-to-door with Joe off of turn number 2. We're seeing those fresh tires really come into play. And he is able to get clear. Eddie Morris now at a P2. And here comes Will Witt looking to get by Joe Wright for P3. There it is. 2 fresh tire drivers on the podium. We got a caution. Caution flag is out here. What is this? 4th caution of the race. Take a look at exactly what happened here.